Man, Rooster, it's got to be 5 o'clock somewhere. Dude, I keep seeing that quote pop up everywhere, like TikTok and Instagram and those other things where Bane says, you merely adopted the dark.
I was born in it.
Dude, that's my new...
Molded by it.
I even printed the Latin phrase for it.
Huh.
Because I'm definitely...
using that.
I'm definitely putting ink on my body for that.
Hell yeah. Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, it's such a cool... When I was fucking around, me and Grant first started making like electronic music, I used that sound for like the first song I ever made, like molded by it. And then just drops that to that. I love that fucking sound.
I was watching TikTok because it's become my new obsession.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy, and he is built he's bigger than Tom Hardy was in the movie.
In the movie, yeah.
But he's got the same frame, and he's walking into the gym, and that whole saying's going on, and he's literally working out in the mask.
Damn.
This dude is huge, and I'm like, oh, God.
He's a monster.
God. I feel like we need to, you and I, we should talk about that because I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to go back into the gym.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to get into it.
So I was just looking this week, actually. Grant keeps trying to get me to go, but I'm like, I don't want to go to fucking Staying Fit.
No.
It's always fucking busy.
She's getting ready to sell it, dude.
Is she? Yeah. So I was looking at that Access Gym, which is...
expensive as fuck.
Is it expensive?
Dude,
but it's a tiny gym.
It's like $900 a year.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just going to go... I think I'm just going to go over to the one by the locker.
The meat locker?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I thought you were talking about...
that...
No, that is Access. I thought you were talking about the Anytime that's over there next to the old shop.
No, I'm talking about that little tiny shit place behind... Because I've been in there before, and they got nice equipment and everything, but it's small, and it's never fucking busy. No. So all last week I was looking in. I gotta just call the guy and ask him whatever it's gonna take. Yeah. But let's do that this week. Yeah. At least get our subscriptions down, and then I'm totally down to start going to the gym. Even if it's for 30 minutes or a fucking hour. 3 times a week or whatever. Like I'm 100% down.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Because that and Liam's giving me the challenge.
Oh yeah. He's like he's getting a little bigger and he's trying.
No, he's not even getting bigger. Oh. He's like, all right, Dad, you keep saying it.
Do it.
Let me see it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want to see what you're made of? I'm like, okay, dude. Okay.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, all right, when I swole up, you're going to go.
Oh, no! Yeah. I'm hella down. We'll talk this week about that and get that on the books because I've been thinking about that too. I definitely want to get that going. But what I love about that gym is it's never fucking busy. Every time I've been in there, there's only been one other person in there working out.
I think because my shop is right around the corner from there. I've only ever seen like 2 or 3 cars there.
Exactly.
At any time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and it's 24-hour.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay.
For real.
All right. It's kind of out of the way and
the shit can't cost $30 a month.
I don't even think it costs that.
Yeah,
I think it costs. If I go in and I sign up, then I could turn around and say, I don't know, you're my brother or my cousin or something, and you get it like half off.
See, but Nick was telling me he went to that gym and he kept bringing his wife, and they kept like bitching at him and telling him like, no, she's got to sign up for her own pass or whatever. And so maybe talk to Nick about that because
I don't know.
We'll see, but either way, I'm down to pay for a full fucking. But if we can get something cheaper, that'd be nice. But I'm down to pay for whatever. So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. We can use that in a segue. Where we can use that in the topic. Things.
Consuming thoughts.
Yeah.
Right.
It's time. It's time.
Right.
It's time to develop.
The time has come to become monsters.
To become the dog.
Who's taking us in?
I am.
Okay.
Going 30.
Okay.
Boop, boop. Refilled. We're back. You know.
This is that show.
Bishop.
Rooster.
We left you off on the whole sibling thing.
Yep.
And we're rolling back into this, and it just turns into this whole topic of like consuming thoughts and like,
yeah, right.
When you start thinking about family, you start thinking about things in your life, things you want to change, things you want to do, things that are affecting you. Everybody gets consumed by these things, and you get stopped from time to time. People are like, "Well, what are you thinking about? Where's your mind at?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's just human nature. You just get caught up in these things where it could be outside of work, outside of personal relationships, outside of everything. It's just things that are consuming
It's like
your
these
mind.
loops that you get caught in where you constantly find yourself thinking about the same things or breaking them down. Yeah, that's happened to me so much more since I've become an adult, quote unquote. Since I've actually started to have to think about like my future, the things that I've wanted to do, I'm like, you forget how blissful it is to be a kid and have nothing to worry about,
right?
Besides your freaking math assignment the next day, or what Shelly had to say about your hair,
right.
Like
the days where the trivial things became such mountains.
To,
scale.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And now you deal with real world situations that you have to kind of navigate and
they question your beliefs and like things that you face. It's like it makes you dive into these recurring thoughts that you think about all the time. And
some of the on a personal note, some of the things that I've been thinking about lately is it's time to go back to the gym.
Oh yeah,
it's time to go back to the gym.
We've been talking about this.
Yeah.
We're ready, folks. Next time when you see a swole rooster and Bister, you're going to lose your shit. We're going to need a bigger camera, folks.
And that's kind of the thing where I've been at is, I'm not a young man, so I got to be kind of cautious walking back into it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you have expectations for yourself of like...
Right.
Because that's always where I fuck myself trying to go back to the gym. And I'm like, I know what I used to do when I worked out in high school and been like... And I'll just go ham for one day, and then I'm absolutely comatose for the next week. I'm never going back.
Muscle recovery, non-existent.
For sure. Yeah, we need to start hitting the gym for sure. That can be our New Year's resolution.
But that is it'd be like the old SNL skit, pump you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But. It's time. It's time. I feel like if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it as I get older.
Exactly.
And if I do it now, at least when I do get a little older, I've got good core now. But
but it'll be a foundation for you to start at, basically. And, I mean, obviously you were in the military. You know what working out is like and shit. Right. But you haven't in so while, and me neither. So at least you'd have some kind of a foundation.
But the thing is, just... If I do it for a while and I build it back up and I have something to, because I mean, like look at Arnold, right? I mean, everybody gives him shit, right? They see the beach pics of him all saggy and everything else, but the guy has a core.
And the guy's fucking 75 or something.
He's up there, right? And I mean, look at Stallone, right? I mean, that guy's religious though. That guy, he works out all the time. Yeah. But you look at these guys and like The Rock and everybody else, and I say The Rock and like Batista and guys like that, they're still comparatively young.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
But the older guys, they have a foundation and they go back into the gym and they really work at it, and then bam, they're back in it. Like they're in pristine form.
Yeah.
And is it all natural? I don't know.
Who knows?
Let us know in the comments. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's a little
spritz here
go on there? I mean, who knows? But I've always believed in core and the core exercises and things like that, because they build the foundation, and if you do it right, you bulk and you build real muscle that lasts for years. And I'm still carrying a lot of muscle from years ago that I know I built the right way, and I've got a good foundation. I've got a lot that I can work with. Because if you don't know, muscle comes from fat, and you got to convert it.
You got to convert it. I've got some conversions to do.
Yeah,
but
I got a payload. Got a payload.
I feel like I'm going to have to eat so much to gain mass. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to start actually cooking myself food.
Did you all hear that? He's actually going to cook for himself. I'm going to have to put him on that one of those meal plans or delivery service.
But I don't got money for that. I ain't paying for that. I'll go over to Safeway and buy some chicken and some rice. Survive on that for years. But first I got to learn how to cook chicken.
I don't know. That's just been on my mind. I don't know. What do you got? What do you got on your mind?
On the smaller scale.
Yeah.
On the smaller scale, my guitar is always on the front of my mind, trying to master my craft and like get better at it. I just have such high expectations for myself where I still think that I suck and that I need to like work harder to be as good as I want to be or whatever. And then, other people see me play and they're like, dude, you're fucking amazing. But I have such high expectations of myself that every day I'm like at least playing for an hour or two trying to master that. And then this new violin, which we talked about.
We did.
Been putting at least like 15, 30 minutes into that a day.
What is that? You're going to be the male version of Lindsay Sterling?
I wish, dude.
That girl jams.
I wish. She kills it.
Jams,
if you guys don't know who Lindsay Sterling is, go watch some of her violin videos. Because she is crazy.
You got to check it out.
Yeah. So on the smaller scale, those are the things that consume my thought. That and like finishing school and that kind of stuff. Getting out of my parents' house, possibly. Maybe.
I'm going to have to post bond for him so he can get out.
But the largest thing that consumes like my thoughts every day and like my overall goal is to escape the Matrix. And by that I mean the stereotypical life of going to work every day just to come home and have a couple hours of free time and like getting married and eventually like hating your wife and like I feel like there's a path that so many people just fall into because it's the path that's easiest, which is just to get a job and get a salary that you can rely on, but then you grow up to not be like a happy person, and that is what consumes my thoughts every day. I feel like I'm just constantly looking for ways to escape that pattern of trading my time for money,
right?
Rather than figuring out how to make my money make money for me. I don't want to just like become the average Joe who goes to work every day and then comes home and sees his wife and like. But a lot of people would love that. Yeah. But for some reason I feel like I want to figure out how I'm going to pay for things,
right?
But also do the things that I want to do, like play music and go fucking in the bush and live in the wilderness for like times of the year. Like those are things that I love and I want to see myself do for my future. But there's no way to make money from, music or going out in the wilderness unless you turn into a fucking rock star, which is unlikely. So that is literally what consumes my thoughts on a daily basis.
Right.
Is figuring out how to escape the matrix of life and like make something for myself.
Well, you could always turn into, Charlie Sheen on 3.5 Men and just write jingles.
True. I could do that, honestly.
Live in a beach house and, you don't know what floozy you got from time to time and you're just doing your thing. And, but yeah, I get it, You're at an age. To me, I look at you. You're at an age where you should be thinking about these things because 10, 20 years from now, it's definitely going to reflect on what effort you put into it now, so that when it's time for you to be in your 40s and 50s, you can turn around and you could be one of two ways. You could be completely independent and doing your own thing and. Living your life, living the life that you see in your mind, or you could be stuck in that cubicle and still be miserable.
Exactly. But and part of the problem, I think, is I don't know if I'm fucking myself by thinking this way. If I'm actually setting myself up for failure.
Oh, you absolutely are.
Exactly.
You absolutely are. But you have to fail to succeed.
Exactly. But I'm afraid to commit and do those types of things of like getting a regular job and going and interning somewhere and that kind of stuff, because I think that it's going to lead to this life of unhappiness where I don't get to do what I want. But at the same, I feel like that might be, hesitating to make these jumps and do things is setting me back further and further. And I feel like that could set me up for a future where I'm unhappy, So I'm like constantly juggling these ideas.
And you should be. I mean, that's a normal thought process. You really should be. Because without exploring those ideas, you'll absolutely be trapped.
Yeah.
Absolutely be trapped. And I don't know about some of our viewers. I mean, you can let us know. If you feel like you're trapped and you just can't get out. But the old adage of if you're doing what you love, you're never working a day in your life is bullshit. Because even if you're doing what you love, you're still working.
Yeah, then it turns into work. Yeah.
And the world isn't built on that anymore. We're not a medieval village.
Yeah.
Right? Excuse me, beer. Oh, beer more. Because literally during the colonial days, individuals were either born into a trade, sect, right? Like they were categorized because their father and grandfather did something.
They were blacksmiths, so you're going to be a blacksmith. Yeah.
But the individuals that they literally did what they loved, and it was still work, but they did what they loved. I mean, you could be a blacksmith, but you really enjoyed it. You could be a potter and you really enjoyed it. You could be a weaver and really enjoy it. You could be a farmer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In today's terms, in today's world, everything is so categorized in such a bland fashion that it doesn't really hold meaning unless your heart is in it. Mm-hmm. If your heart's in it, yes, you're working, and yes, you love it, but still it's a job, and it's not as rewarding because guess what? You're one of how many hundreds of thousands of people that do the same thing?
Exactly.
Thousands, tens of thousands, whatever it may be, that do the same thing. So then you have to learn different skills to make yourself better.
Stand out, yeah.
Right? So it's a different world, it really is. And in the world of finance and the world of money and things like we've talked about, if you can learn how to leverage your worth against your time, that seems to be the bigger payoff down the road. Because other people are chasing that dream, and if you're selling the picks and shovels to go mine that gold, you're going to make more money than the guy that's digging for the gold.
Yeah, exactly.
So, life lesson.
Yes.
Life lesson.
Mr. and Bishop full of them.
Life lesson.
Definitely. I feel like I took this whole episode to talk about me.
No. We talked about beefing it up.
True.
Beefing it up.
But what consumes your thoughts on a daily basis? What loops do you find yourself going through?
I'm just looking at, I got more than 20 years on you, and it's just as an older individual, and I'm watching a lot of friends and family get sick and ill and die and things like that. It's not going to get any easier.
I can't imagine that.
And that's kind of like the big drive for me to go do one more big push. Maybe it's a year's worth, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, maybe it's the rest of my life, and I just get back in the gym and I take better care of myself. We drink beer and we have, our vapes and things like that. And it's not the best thing. Our
vices.
Yeah, it's not the best thing in the world, but it doesn't mean that I can't go and I can't make sure that my body isn't in the best that I can make sure it's in, And so...
So that's what's been consuming you is like your future, basically.
Yeah, looking at it in a long term.
Same as me, ultimately.
Yeah, looking at it long term because I know that, in 5 to 10 years I could be expecting, knock on wood, I could be looking at my first grandchildren.
Yeah.
And looking at that going, well, I want to make sure that I can keep up with those little bastards.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
I can be part of all of that.
Uh-huh.
And for years to come. And outside of all my other expectations and aspirations in life, the first thing and foremost is looking at my future generations and making sure that I have quality time with them coming up, because I'm watching so many other people drop off really early that shouldn't be dropping
off. I'm sure,
off.
yeah. People like your friends who are in their 40s or 50s dying. Like,
yep.
I always have this image in my mind, and most people probably do. You're like, oh, I'm going to live to like 80. 85, and then my mom's friend gets sick and dies at 49, and I'm like, you know, that could be any one of us, just who just fucking dies out of the blue. It's like, it really makes you think about making the most out of, you know, not only your life and look into the future, but don't get caught up in the future and like let every moment be precious, every day be happy and
and that's kind of where my mind is like turning and wanting to pass on knowledge and understanding of the world. You know, I work with some young people and you know, they're consumed by the world as it stands now, and being an older person and sitting back and going, you know, there's an old joke, you know, there's two bulls, there's an old bull and a young bull standing on a hill looking down on a field of cows. And the young bull says, let's run down there and fuck one of those cows. The old bull says, well, fuck that. Why don't we walk down there and fuck them all? Just being able to slow down. Slow down, take perspective. And appreciate what you got. You know, and that is a big thing that I think is being lost, because the immediacy of reward is so large right now. We shouldn't be so focused on that. And we need to appreciate the individuals that are around us. We need to appreciate the things that we have and take better care of them and have more responsibility for it. And that's where I'm at.
I feel you.
That's where I'm at.
I wish that some of those things were automatically like imprinted on me. Like, for example, I spend a lot of my days going to work, doing my stuff, doing my schoolwork, and then my free time I spend relaxing, doing what I want. But seeing my friends' grandparents die out of nowhere and like that kind of stuff makes me think like maybe I should go out and spend 30 minutes chatting with my grandpa and talking about anything and everything. And like it's I never had a lot of appreciation for the value of those moments. Unless it gets put into perspective like that, like somebody, you know, your friend's grandpa dying and them not getting an opportunity to spend that time with him, then you don't necessarily think about the value in those moments until it's too late.
Time's the only thing you can't get back.
Yep.
Period.
For real.
And if you have the opportunity, you know, would you rather be selfish and, you know, take it to yourself, or like you said, if you have the opportunity, I would give anything to have another half an hour with my grandfather.
I'm sure, yeah.
You know, but to think about that and put that in perspective, would you rather have a half an hour to put your feet up, or, you know, just walk outside to the shop and you know, just ask him about any off-the-wall topic.
Right, yeah.
Because that's a memory that you'll always have, you know. So, I don't know, folks. You let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what kind of episodes you want to see. We're just kind of doing the dailies.
Doing the dailies.
And seeing what's going on. But if there's something you want to know, leave it in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. Put it in front of your friends. If you like it, this is real talk. A couple of guys having beers, you know, bring them in. We got some good laughs. We got some hard conversations.
Yep.
But unless the next round's on you, we gotta go. Cheers,
folks. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to, you know, that show.